state championships is underway. I'm Rich Krampanis. Thanks so much for logging on to ShoreSportsZone.com, where our Friday playoff show will take you all around Monmouth and Ocean County, and you never know what's going to happen in the postseason. Let's get started here in Rumson, where the defending state champ Bulldogs had their hands full with Rahway.
Thanks to Reach Your Potential Training for sponsoring Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Rumson-Fair High School.
The Dog Pound primed for a state championship run, but Rahway came to play in this one, the number 8 seed, hanging around to say the least. This is the last play of the first quarter. The halfback option, Jerish Halsey hauls it in. It's 6-0 Rahway at the end of one. Then Rahway would get great field position. They were driving, but the Rumson-Fair defense comes through. It's Ian Clark on the fumble recovery. So now down 6-0. Here's Michael O'Connor with a great first down run. The offense beginning to show signs of life. It's O'Connor again, but this drive would stall at the 12-yard line. At the half, Rumson-Fairhaven down 6-0. But oh, what a third quarter for the Bulldogs. They looked like state champs to say the least. It starts with Matt Vecchiarelli from 2 yards out. It's 7-6 RFH, and the Bulldogs never looked back. Ian Clark had an awesome game on defense for the Bulldogs. Here he causes a fumble recovery, gives RFH fantastic field position, 4th and goal from the 7. O'Connor, look at the patience, and more importantly, look at the time given to him by the offensive line. John Kingdon makes the catch. Kingdon has had some great games for RFH. He's a clutch performer. That made it 14-6, and then the true knockout punch comes from Michael O'Connor. He is such a dangerous running QB. This is a 53-yard gallop for Michael O'Connor. That made it 21-6. Rumson-Fairhaven goes from no points in the first half to 43 in the second. 43-6 is your final. Next up for RFH is a big showdown with the Matawan Huskies. The number 5 seed scored a triple overtime win, 24-18 at Hopewell Valley. So a rematch from week 2 when RFH blanked Matawan 17-0. But the Huskies did not have their starting quarterback, George Pearson. They were really banged up early on in the season. This will be a great game. Matawan at RFH, the winner goes to the state championship. The Bulldogs open the postseason with a 43-6 win against Rahway.
Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Red Bank Regional is sponsored by Navasink Electrical.
The Buck Deck savoring the moment. Home playoff football in Little Silver for Red Bank Regional. The Bucks hosting South Plainfield. It was a 7-0 Red Bank Regional lead at the half. Second half action. Here's Aleem Gotzi. Look at him carry the pile. Gotzi takes the run all the way down to the 6-yard line, and it would lead to this. Sadiq Palmer from 4 yards out. Red Bank Regional has a 14-0 lead in the third. And Palmer, we all know this, he can do it all. Here, the awareness, just fantastic. He scoops up the loose ball and quickly darts to the end zone. Little traffic there on the RBR sideline, but trust me, he got into the paint. Touchdown for Sadiq Palmer on the defensive side of the ball makes it 21-0. And the RBR defense has been tremendous all season long. This is Jack Hatalian with a great quarterback sack. Pushes South Plainfield back deep in their own territory, and then Hatalian with a great job of pressuring the QB. Now this is an incomplete pass, but there was holding in the end zone. And when you hold in the end zone, that puts 2 points on the board. There's the call. Safety for Red Bank Regional makes it 23-0. The Bucks turned it over a couple of times in the second half, but other than that, pure dominance. Aleem Gotzi ran great. Here, he takes it inside the 10-yard line, and it sets the stage for Sadiq Palmer's third touchdown of the game. Palmer makes it 30-0, and that is your final. Head coach Nick Giglio had the perfect formula for postseason success. He leaned on his defense, chewed up the clock with great run game, and Jack Nowitzki, as always at quarterback, managed the game well. The Bucks open the postseason with a shutout win at home over South Plainfield.
Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Ocean Township High School is sponsored by Manasquan Bank and AdPro Imprints.
At Ocean Township High, the Spartans A number 2 seed gets some home cooking. Hamilton West coming to Ocean Township. And the first play from scrimmage, Kenny Pickett finds Ruquan Dean, and Dean knows what to do after the catch. There he goes, a 45-yard gain all the way down to the 11-yard line. It would lead to this. Kenny Pickett, boy, he sells that ball fake real well. There he goes into the back of the end zone. Bootleg TD run from 2 yards out makes it 7-0, just 1:45 into the ball game. Ocean Township got a 100-yard game out of Tyler Thompson, the dynamic senior, moving the chains here. It's 7-0 at the end of one. Early second quarter, Pickett to the air, finds Grayson Studhoff down to the 11-yard line. That receiving core is balanced and deep with Dean, Studhoff, and don't forget about Joey Aldarelli. And the drive is capped off when Tyler Thompson finds the zone from a yard out. That makes it 14-0 Spartans. And then look at Kenny Pickett. I don't know if we're talking enough about this guy. His stats are off the charts. His TD to INT ratio, I think, is like 16-1, and he can run with it too. Avoiding the rush, that's a great touchdown run, covering 6 yards, 21-0 at the half. As Ocean Township goes on to a 35-0 win over Hamilton West, and now the stage is set for the rematch. Ocean Township hosting Red Bank Regional. They met in the regular season. RBR scored an impressive 16-6 win at Ocean in the regular season. And Central Jersey Group 3 is down to 4 teams, and they are all from the Shore Conference. We will have a state champion, as it's Matawan, RFH, Ocean, and RBR. They'll duke it out for a state title.
Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Jackson Memorial is sponsored by Surf Taco. Thanks to Manasquan Bank for sponsoring Shore Sports Zone's coverage of the Brick Township Green Dragons.
Brick Township, a number 2 seed looking for a state title run, but standing in their way, a familiar foe, Jackson Memorial, who lost to Brick in the regular season last year and turned around and won in the postseason on the way to a state title. They were looking for the same result. Tied at 7 at the half, third quarter, the Jaguars have the running game going. Look at Mike Golick, 22 yards, move the chains, it's a first down, and they go right back to Golick, 24 yards this time, and tack on extra yards for the late hit out of bounds. The Jaguars set up at the 1-yard line, and Mike Golick caps off the drive. Sound the upset alarm. The Jaguars have a 14-7 lead late in the third, and it's time for us to shine the zone spotlight on Mike Golick. Here's no secret. He'll be back at our banquet in December. Only a junior, he has been a workhorse for head coach Walt Christopik. We asked all the players at I Play America during Media Day one word to describe high school football. Mike Golick sums it up best. It's intense. Don't forget, you can see all the zone spotlights of the kids we cover. Just go on to shoresportszone.com and click on In the Zone. Back to game action now. The Jaguar defense was dominant in the second half. Anthony Costanza's pass to Jasir Taylor broken up and nearly intercepted. Jackson gets the ball back, looking to go up 2 scores. Kyle Johnson has moved to quarterback, and he keeps it on the option for a 25-yard gain, goes out of bounds, and then Johnson from 10 yards out, he's in the paint. 21-7 Jackson Memorial with under 5 minutes to go. And the Jackson Memorial defense was able to contain Brick Township, and this guy had a huge game. Tyler Towns causing the fumble, recovers it, and that seals the deal. Jackson Memorial avenges a 2-0 loss in the regular season to Brick Township, and the number 7 seed upsets second-seeded Brick Township. 21-7 is your final. Congratulations to the Green Dragons on an outstanding season. A lot of people thought they would be in rebuilding mode after losing Carmen Sclafani, Ray Fataruso, and Jaquez Johnson, but boy, Brick had a great year. Jackson Memorial is not your typical number 7 seed. They are the defending state champs. They are seasoned, and as they showed in these highlights, they are ready to go on another run. Next up, they'll be on the road once again, this time taking on 6-seeded Steinert. After the game, our Alex Lorenzo gets post-game reaction from the upset-winning Jaguars.
This might even be more satisfying than last year. To see a bunch of young guys that were pretty much inexperienced in the beginning of the year, see them grow week to week throughout the season, see them make progress. We've been close in quite a few games, right there in the fourth quarter with some very good competition, but we just hadn't broken through. Today was, a breakthrough game for these young guys, just going to build their confidence going into the future.
It's huge, especially last year when we lost. and we had an opportunity. And once we lost a Week 4 game, right after that, we put Brick on our schedule for playoffs.
Thanks to Surf Taco for sponsoring Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Jackson Liberty. Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Brick Memorial is sponsored by Manasquan Bank.
Brick Memorial fans fired up for home playoff football against Jackson Liberty. The Mustangs, the #1 seed, looking to take it all in Central Jersey Group 4. Jackson Liberty was able to chew up 5 minutes of clock on the opening drive, but Chris Hayes puts an end to it with a big hit on the receiver. The Mustang offense goes to work. Eli Laverin. 27-yard run here, and the Mustangs have that stable of great runners, including this guy, Tony Thorpe. There he goes, 37 yards, 5:06 to go in the first quarter. Brick Memorial's on the board with a 7-0 lead. The Mustangs defense has been tremendous all year, and so is this guy, Mike Nobile, the quarterback sack, forcing Jackson Liberty to punt. The Mustangs get it right back. Here's Tim Santiago. Wow, 33 yards for Santiago. He has made so many great highlights on ShoreSportsZone.com. It's 14-0 Brick Memorial at the end of one. Jackson Liberty would drive it all the way down to the 11-yard line. Chance to get back into the football game, but there's Mike Nobile again. Another big defensive play. It stays 14-0. Now, Brick Memorial doesn't throw it much, so this is a rarity. Santiago to Grant McKelvey. Look at the diving catch inside the 5. That's awesome. Setting the stage for Tony Thorpe from 4 yards out. Second TD of the half. The Mustangs go up 21-0. It was 24-0 at the half, and Brick Memorial goes on to a 38-6 win. They will now await the winner of Allentown and Freehold Boro. That game taking place in Freehold on Saturday afternoon. Shore Sports Zone will be there. We'll bring you all the highlights. All you Brick Memorial fans can do some scouting by watching our highlights, as it's Brick Memorial opening the postseason, winning by 32 at home over Jackson Liberty.
Thanks to Tom's Ford for sponsoring Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Middletown South.
The Middletown South Eagles, the #1 seed in North 2 Group 4. West Windsor-Plainsboro North would attest that the Eagles are very worthy of that honor. This team just takes care of business right from the get-go. Matt Mosquera dumps it off to James McCarthy. Is he wide open? Yeah. 7-0 Middletown South in front. And then that Eagles offensive line opens the holes for Cole Rogers. Here's Rogers with a great run down to the 13-yard line. And then Cole Rogers up the middle. Boy, that is some hole, and Cole Rogers knows what to do with it. A 17-yard touchdown makes it 14-0. That Eagles defensive unit is deep and dangerous. So many playmakers, including James McCarthy with the INT. And McCarthy turns right back around, gets his second touchdown of the game. This is a 14-yard TD run that made it 21-0, and the dominance just continued. Cole Rogers from 13 yards out, it's 28-0, and when it was all said and done, Middletown South put up the speed limit. 55-0 is your final. You see the numbers for Cole Rogers. 3 more touchdowns. He tops the 1,000-yard mark despite missing 2 games due to injury, and the Eagles, who came oh so close to winning a state championship last year, made quite a first impression in the opening round of the 2015 playoffs.
Thanks to Tom's Ford for sponsoring Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Middletown North.
Let's go across town to Middletown North, where the Lions hosted Sayreville. First home playoff game for Middletown North since 1986, and North Nation was loving it. Second quarter, here's Donald Glenn to the air. He finds Chad Freshnock, his second game back from injury. Freshnock looking good, and that's good news for Middletown North all the way down to the 18. Then Glenn goes to the air. Brandon Kuby, look at this catch here. He's ruled out of bounds. Now hold on. We're going to slow this down, and we're going to let you make the call. It's a tough call for the official, but watch Kuby's leg land in the paint. Nonetheless, no touchdown called at the half. Middletown North with a 14-6 lead. Second half, Glenn goes back to the air. This is why Chad Freshnock is so good. He can run it in between the tackles. He's also a reliable receiving option. Big play here for Chad Freshnock. It sets the stage for Joey Kavanaugh from 25 yards out. It's through the uprights. Middletown North now up 17-6. And in the fourth quarter, the Lions are able to use their depth at running back. Connor Welsh sharing the load with Chad Freshnock. This is a 25-yard touchdown run that made it 24-6. And Welsh wasn't done there. Check out this play. Connor Welsh, yeah, that's going to be a top play nominee. Welsh, 31 yards, and Middletown North gets its first playoff win in 15 years. 31-6 is your final. And now the stage is set for a crosstown battle. Number 4 seed Middletown North at number 1 seed Middletown South. Next Friday, winner goes to the state championship. Here's what's a little bit awkward. These same two teams will play just 6 days later in a Thanksgiving regular season tradition. So get ready for 2 servings of North against South. And after the game, our TJ Brustowitz caught up with Donald Glenn and Connor Welsh talking about Middletown North's big playoff win.
It means a lot. Coach talks a lot about stepping the program, taking the next step every single year. And, we got our first home playoff game since 1986, and then we got our first home playoff game under Coach Bush, so we're really excited and we're happy.
Big win for the seniors. Their last home game. I was in the class when they gave us a big speech before the game. Play hard for your seniors and win it for them, and that's all I tried to do.
Thanks to Manasquan Bank for sponsoring our coverage of Point Boro High School. Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Raritan High School is sponsored by Hazlitt Pharmacy.
Another all-shore rematch is Raritan at Point Pleasant Boro. They played in the regular season. Point Boro won by 6 at home in a shootout. This was a low-scoring affair, tied up at 7. The Rockets go to the air. Mark Carnival to Nick Pasquin. This covers 49 yards, and the Rockets are on the move. Then they turn to the run game, and that means Derek Ernst. Look at Derek Ernst drag the pile. Ernst with a 27-yard run, setting the stage for this. Mark Carnival from a yard out. Early in the fourth quarter, the Rockets take a 14-7 lead. Point Pleasant Boro puts together a great drive. It's 4th and 7. They go for it. Jasir Jones coming up with the big play here. Great defense. And Raritan gets the ball back. They're able to put together a drive, melt away the clock. Gavin Toth from 23 yards out. That was huge. It made it a 10-point advantage, 17-7. And then Point Boro in desperation mode. Check out Jasir Jones. Another big play. He pulls down the tip pass. He's able to run it for 51 yards. And the Raritan Rockets pull off an upset in the first round of the playoffs. Raritan came in with a 5-game losing streak, but the Rockets prevail. 17-7 is your final. Congratulations to Coach Anthony Petruzzi and the Rockets. If you look at some of the teams they played during that 5-game losing streak, Raritan was competitive in just about every one of those games. And they were able to put up 20-plus points against St. John Vianney, who's one of the best teams in the state. So this isn't too much of a major shock, but nonetheless, a number 6 seed beats number 3. The Raritan Rockets advance with a 17-7 win over Point Pleasant Boro.
Thanks to Surf Taco for sponsoring Shore Sports Zone's coverage of Donovan Catholic. Thanks to Paver Restoration for sponsoring Shore Sports Zone's coverage of St. John Vianney.
We go to the non-public ranks where St. John Vianney, the number 1 seed in Group 3, hosting Donovan Catholic. They met in the regular season. St. John Vianney topped 60 points in Toms River in a win, and it was a no-doubter for the Lancers once again. Here is Chris Chukwanuke with a 22-yard run, setting the stage for Anthony Brown. 15-yard touchdown run. Just like that, it's 6-0 early. After a 3-and-out by Donovan Catholic, the first play for St. John Vianney, good field position, Calvin Beatty. 30-yard touchdown run. He is a great two-way player. He's outstanding at linebacker. And St. John Vianney was poised and focused in this football game. Anthony Brown for 30 yards here sets the stage for Chris Chukwanuke, a 10-yard touchdown run as St. John Vianney is all business in this one. 41-0 is your final. The Lancers will be home next week. They'll face the winner of Red Bank Catholic and Pope John. That game is going to be played on Saturday in Sparta. Shore Sports Zone will be there. I know all the Lancer fans will want to check out those highlights and get an early scouting report. It could be RBC against St. John Vianney. The winner goes to the state championship game at MetLife Stadium. Either way, the Lancers are one win away from getting to East Rutherford after a 41-0 win at home over Donovan Catholic. Coming up on Saturday, 3 more games. We'll have one more Saturday highlight show. It'll be a postseason edition. We'll take you to the big RBC Pope John showdown, plus Freehold, Boro, and Lakewood with home playoff games on Saturday afternoon. For our team at Shore Sports Zone, I'm Bruce Krampanis. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow with more high school football right here on ShoreSportsZone.com.